I'm sure nobody. It's fine, and I completely get it. But even though these videos feel repetitive sometimes for me, I kind of have to always remind myself that the goal of this is to kind of like pick up the pace and be able to explain myself different. So I just shot a 13-minute video where I made the mistake of calling something, like it started with confirmation bias as the title of the video, but I used the word cognitive at one point in the video, and then from there, I started just using cognitive bias for the rest of the video. And I had to make a choice, so I fucking deleted it. And this is 40 seconds in, which means the word that I just used is not gonna like put me in trouble with YouTube. But anyways, we have crossed the 160 mark, and this is basically video 160. So yesterday I was thinking about many things, and one of the things I was thinking was how can I actually do better when it comes to the reach, the video reach. And with everything you do, there's always that little like comfort space that you kind of want to fill in. Like you always are training for something, but preparing for something, but not ready to take a leap. And for me, one of the things that I'm working on and consistently and trying to approach it as much as I can, weekly, daily, whatever it is the YouTube, the consistency with YouTube. And I do realize that the reason I'm doing this is specifically because I just want to evolve and I want to explain this to myself. And I really think that is for what I want to do, I need to build as honest as a rapport with my community or whoever is going to be listening and moving toward forward. And I'd really need to be able to kind of like slowly and but surely grow into the person that people can see capable of achieving my ambition. And I have to grow into that person, period. But I have to kind of like grow publicly in order for people to like see and actually trust truthfully, understand all these beautiful things. So whatever it is I show them, they believe because over the past 10, 15 years, we have literally we have literally seen people rise and kind of disappear simply because all their ideas were excitement based. They weren't boringly consistent. They were not boringly consistent. But I mean, like this is fucking perfect because like boringly consistent is something that I would want to talk about. So I'm gonna take a note. This is a video. Boring, consistent. I think boring consistency is literally what succeeds anywhere you look. But it's not why I'm doing this video. I can, but I don't want to. Although I have started with it. All right, fuck it. I'm just going to continue with this video. Boringly consistent. There's a Taoist saying or a Confucian saying, something of the mystical East. And they say, a tree grows in silence while it falls in. It doesn't sound as epic as it did in my head. But a tree grows in silence for many, many years. But when it falls, it takes seconds to fall, and it's the loudest thing you heard. So anything with a loud noise is chances are it's happening way too fast for it to be stable. Anything with a hype, with strength, with motivation, momentum, all kinds of things really require a certain build process, a certain like slow and steady transfer of energy, like step by step. And any way you think about it, if my perfect example is the tree. Like there are some trees that like stood the test of time and have been standing for thousands and thousands of years. And there are trees that basically barely make it anywhere because for whatever fucking reason. Because there weren't even where there weren't actually trees. There were like blades of grass. Blades of grass grow after 3 days, but they're basically stepped on every second. Bushes grow after like 3 months, but they only last 5 months. What we want something steady, something sturdy, something beautiful. Building an actual community to reach the goal that I have, to reach the vision that I actually have. Like, and I struggled with that word vision for like a year because like vision, 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 vision. What the fuck, visionary and all that shit. But the reality is, like, if you're seeing something that doesn't really exist, that's a vision. If you bring it to real life, then you become the visionary. If you make it a thing, then then you're, I don't know, man, kind of like are creating a different reality. And again, that's my ambition. That's what I fucking want to do. I really want to like create a different game to be played with society as we have here for people that are trying to experience life the way they would see fit for them. How do you make these decisions? We can have these conversations all day long. I really like, I'm dying for people to kind of be interested to work with me in order for me to have like direct like interactions to see where we can actually explode. But anyways, so uh, so the boring growth. Right now we're at video 160, and 160 is basically 444, right? Yeah, 16 divided by 4. So that's a significant number, I would assume. So this could be a celebratory video, even though I deleted one 5 seconds ago that was 160, but it wasn't meant to be because that video was me explaining something so fucking so consciously that probably nobody would actually be able to understand it. But the beauty is I ended up like listening to the video in order for me to see if I actually fucked up in the video. And I realized a couple of times I just used different words because my mind was not really present in the words that I'm using. I just was basically jumping and trying. I literally just, instead of confirmation bias, I started saying cognitive bias. But anyways, I love the video. I love the concept of it. I spoke about many things in my head and I kind of like shifted my mind as I'm speaking. I was speaking about it. But I realized that I'd rather start, and the reason why I realized that is because, again, as I'm taking steps forward and building more YouTube videos, it's becoming a thing that whether I like to admit it or not, the more I do YouTube videos, the more I realize, like, okay, now I'm doing 160, I'm 160 video, but like their quality has kind of like been pushing to change. The quality of the conversation has been pushing to change. And I'm comfortable enough right now to kind of research different stuff, look at different things. And the first like couple of hundred videos I wanted just be come out of my head, express whatever's on your mind, like dump shit out, let it out. And then I figured at one point I'll be able to kind of like use them as points of reference in my own head in order to kind of like explain better, elaborate differently. And by the time that happens, I'll actually have like a whole lot of like, I'll be able to do tags on video, YouTube. I'll be able to like do different questions on YouTube. I'll be able to do better titles on YouTube, and like yeah, evolve in the YouTube game. It's like you have to evolve in the YouTube game and then be able to like plan ahead how you're going to discuss the video. Because for me, I just like want to stand up and I want to speak about the idea that I have. But then at one point, I have to kind of create the content for the actual website, for the actual platform that I'm creating. So that requires a lot more planning, and I need to learn more stuff. I need to understand different things, and I need to process how to actually like develop the things that I actually would want to use to grab people and to be able to like engage with my like community slash environment, all that stuff. But yeah, so we are at a video 160 and it's creating a certain distortion with me because now I kind of like look at how I'm speaking and what I'm speaking and how many times I've mentioned it before and the actual words that I'm using. And it happens naturally because simply I'm just running out of ways to explain something the way I'm used to. So I have to create a new way or I have to build on top of it in order to be able to connect properly the things, the vision that I have in my head. So every single thing I do every single day, and every single thing that I'm adding to my day, and I'm trying my always trying to like engage, transfer, and the information that's kind of like connecting with itself and seeing how it builds and what comes out of it. All of these are separate processes that my mind is basically just absorbing, and then the ideal goal is for them to become like the ultimate go-to for anything I want to achieve. Whether it is writing a nice, decent paper, or whether it is just like playing the guitar in a good vibe, or whether it is just like being able to read a book and understand it like from the first time enough for me to kind of want to have discussions about it. Because most of these things are not really, you kind of have to build the skills for them. And YouTube is one of them. And look, communication, man, is very important because, like, every single part of every single word that you use matters. The way you speak and what you speak matters. And this is fresh in my head again, like because like I've literally like I do stuff, I continue doing stuff, I build different things, and I move back and forth with like random different stuff that I think are going to contribute. And that's the whole point of this YouTube video, is to be able to kind of like coherently connect them so other people can see it, in order for whatever's on my mind to be out there, and then for people to decide if they want to engage with the reality I'm creating and the world I want to be building or not. And yep, I think my goal is to achieve a boring consistency. And I am trying my best to be boringly consistent, because like any way you think about it, the slower the pace, the more boring it feels. But the more present you are, and the more things you get to see, and the more things you get to enjoy, and the more things you get to deal with. And if something is not boring, that means you're fucking on edge, and that's like not necessarily the best of. It's not necessarily always the best of experiences, right? So just it's a good balance to being consistent and boring. Boringly consistent. I'm not boring. Nobody is boring. Everyone's super interesting. It's amazing what people actually think about, but they don't really notice most of the time. So boringly consistent. It's a good video. Thank you guys. Video 160. Yay!